for the queen. Sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and booty walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog. When God made you, boo, you know he showed out. Mahogany enchantress, blessings overflow now. Picture of success, seductive silhouettes on a spiritual quest. Manifest and be blessed. Mother, sister, auntie, tribe of Ashanti. Rocking your locks, I got a close crop blondie. The curse and the gift, uplift, apply pressure. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. This is a podcast where we focus on mental health and wellness, especially geared towards Black women, because we need it. We're a special kind of beautiful creatures. We need all of it, everything Black over here. So my name is Ursula, and I'm your host, and I promise to deliver the best content as possible. And tonight, we're just going to get right into it. First of all, before we get into it, as you know, I'm now global. I have two new listeners in India and Zambia. Who knew? I don't know who you are, but if you're listening right now, I want you to tell me hello. Give me a wave, something. Let me know what's going on. And I want you to like, comment, share, please. It will help. And, give Jasmine some love. Give her some love. This sister works hard. We need all the love we can get. Also, if this is a replay and you're catching it, I want you to definitely, put a little replay in the box. Say hello. Let me know. And hey, Tiffany on Facebook. All right, so tonight's topic is sexual anxiety. Some people have it, some people don't. Hey, Tanya. So what I'm going to do, I want you all to listen closely, and I want you to either put a thumbs up or a heart. Let me know. Oh yeah, also we are streaming live on Instagram. That's FYI. So if any of this sounds familiar and it resonates, if you heard it when you were younger, just let me know. And this is going to be the premise of the show. Okay. When you were younger, or even now, have you heard from the elders or your aunts, older cousins, that the act of sex is only the man's pleasure? You've heard that sex is a job in capital J-O-B letters. Or you've been taught, and they tell you, hurry up and just let him finish. You've been taught that blowjobs are disgusting. You've been taught that getting eaten out is disgusting, or porn is the devil, or the devil's Netflix and it's a sin. Or if you just I see you, Jasmine. Or If you like sex as a young adult, that you're fast, hot ass, or this is one, don't open your pocketbook for men, or masturbation is nasty and you'll go to hell, or the elders don't come home pregnant, but they don't tell you how not to get pregnant. Here's a big one. Have you never had an orgasm from yourself or from your partner? And here's a good one, that tampons are the devil's cotton fingers. Listen, it's all real. You all let me know. Jasmine is cracking up in the waiting room. Let me know if any of this sounds familiar. Okay? So I'm going to read the bio of this beautiful guest. Her name is Setting Jasmine. She is a clinical therapist as well as an adult film actress. So I'm going to read her bio, and she'll expand on her end as well. So, Setting Jasmine is a licensed clinical therapist with a strong emphasis on intimacy, post-injury, and intimacy post-illness. She's the co-owner with partner King Noir of award-winning Royal Fetish Films, which I have tuned in. Love it. And she has over 20 years of experience as an adult film entertainer, educator, and master fetish trainer. I love it. Their work on decolonizing sex and porn and politics have been featured in Vice, Huffington Post, Rolling Stones, Playboy, Forbes, Cosmo. It's funny. It says a BBC, but when I read that, I instantly thought big black cock. But okay, it's the network, right? And Psychology Today and more. So with no longer further ado, I'm going to bring this sister on right now and take her out the waiting room. Hey, Jazz.
Hello. How
are you?
I'm doing well. I'm going to be looking at you on Instagram. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Okay, awesome.
Let me do this.
Little audio.
Okay. You all, we are simulcasting on about 18 different platforms. We're going to make it happen. Is there an echo? Can you all hear me okay? Is it okay?
There's an echo on my end. So wherever my audio is coming in from, it's also coming through your mic.
Okay.
So I hear it back out. One of the things that I did that might help is I turned off the audio on the computer, the external, like what's coming out. So I only hear you through my phone.
Thank you for telling me that. You know what? And that's why you're the master fetish person. You give direction very well.
Fetish.
Teach me.
I think you may have.
Okay.
You did it. Is
that a little better?
It's perfect. It's more than better. It's perfect.
Okay. Let's do this.
And just a sound check from our audience. Can y'all hear us on IG? And can they give you likes or something if they hear you on Facebook? I just want to make sure they hear our combo.
So please give me a thumbs up, a heart, if you can hear us okay with no problems. On Facebook and Instagram, especially Instagram.
Yep, they're good. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ricardo. So, Tanya, thank you. So, yes, they can hear us very well. Let's get it. There's feedback. Someone said there's feedback.
I think we're good now. If you scroll all the way down.
Okay. So now they're saying they hear an echo from Jasmine.
Okay.
So let's do this.
How can we help them?
Oh, they say it's on your end, Jazz.
Okay. I wonder. So just so you know, Facebook is going to have a delay. IG is live. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's your phone. I kind of think that I wonder if they can hear us a little bit better now. Y'all on IG, hang in there. We got this.
We got it.
Only when Jasmine. I know. I got you.
How's this? Facebook, is this any better? Yeah?
So talk to us, you all. Is it better? So
Michelle, Derek, Tanya, can you hear a little bit better? On Instagram, we're good, thank you. We're just checking in StreamYard before we get going. And then...
So StreamYard, you all on Facebook and YouTube, let me know. Are we good? Derek said, is the phone audio up? Yes, it is, Derek. It sounds like.
Okay, we're good.
Oh,
perfect.
You know what? I'm going to just be upfront with everyone that this is my first time going Instagram live, and Jasmine has popped my cherry. And it didn't hurt. I know, it didn't hurt. Thank you.
Socially
Right. All right, let's get into it, sis. Let's get into it. Can you tell people what is it like on a therapist end? Like, what made you become a therapist?
Actually, so I became a therapist because I was in a not the greatest situation at the time. I was in college. I was pregnant with my first child, and I really wanted to be a communications major.
Okay.
And when I got pregnant, I realized that more than any of those things, I wanted to. Hang on one second. I just want to teach you something about being on IG. There are trolls, as you can see. So if you want, you can hold their name down and block them forever.
I sure will.
Yeah, so we can have like a mature conversation.
Is this the person that starts with the M that you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You're blocked, Mr. M or whatever.
Forever.
I've never blocked anyone before, but it feels good. Hold on.
Doesn't it? Yeah, we don't have to deal with that.
No.
Okay, why would we?
I don't know if it worked, but did I get it?
Yeah, we'll get them eventually. So, I decided that I wanted to school and talk to the college advisor. And they said, well, looking at your transcripts, you've taken enough classes to graduate as a sociology major. So do you want to just stay on that track? So I didn't even know that I had a really natural instinct to study people, behavior, how we socialize with each other. I was just taking classes that were of interest to me and that satisfied environments necessary. So I just stayed on that route. But what really cemented it and made me want to go back was after becoming a sociologist and realizing like that doesn't pay. Like it's really nice if somebody will put you on their research team, but it's rare that someone ever hires a sociologist straight out of school.
Right.
So I knew that I needed an additional degree or their skill set. And I was going through public assistance as now a young mom and trying to get back into grad school. And this social worker telling me like, well, you may not qualify for any help because you're trying to go to college and you need to get a job. And I was just like, oh, so I'm trying to get a better job. I'm trying to escape poverty. And you're telling me that, no, I should actually just do what I've been doing and not further. And it was so the most disempowering clinical that I've ever been in. And it really did touch my heart from the perspective of I knew I would be okay.
Right.
I'll figure it out. I'm going to figure out a way to go to school, and I'm going to figure out a way how to get this Medicaid, and I'm going to figure out a way to get all of these benefits, maybe not through you, but I'm going to figure it out. But I did not feel comfortable knowing that women were being met for mental health with the stay in your place. They don't aspire for anything, family, better for you. Don't further your education. Just be happy you go and work that. And so that to me was so disgusting and such a turn off, and it's the last thing that I needed to hear, but it actually changed my life because I decided like, no, I am going to dedicate a leg of my livelihood to helping individuals access mental health care people see the like full potential of their life in some way, and like I do that in therapy, and I also get to do that as a dominatrix. So, yeah, fuck that lady.
I know that's right. So speaking of dominatrix, what made you want to become an adult film actress?
Yeah. So a lot of that was also coming naturally too. When I look back, I realized that I've always had like a fetish for manipulating sexual situations and really pushing people's boundaries. And you know, now I have obviously learned how to do it in a professional and a safe way, but I've been toying with these dynamics as long as I've been sexually active.
Right.
The film star part came from, you know, I was doing these fantasy flight parties, I was doing the fetish work, I was doing a lot of live work, and the conversation always kept coming back to like Black women not seeing themselves represented in porn. Black women saying like, I would watch it, but it always looks like this, or comparing their bodies, comparing their sex to what they were seeing in porn. And I was hosting these events for women between the ages of about 25 to about 45 around that time, cold parties, divorce parties, toy parties, all the parties. These are women with expendable dollars that want to explore their sexuality. They don't see themselves represented, like we don't see ourselves properly or diversely represented in regular media.
Absolutely.
Now, I am not a good actress. I know good and well I would not be representing the main screen. So, you know, I was like, let me throw my hat in and see what we can create in the adult industry. So my partner and I, we really, you know, we talked about it. We thought through what the consequences and the benefits would be. He had already been in the industry and got out of it, and what would re-entering it look like? What did we want to bring when we talk about representation? Represent how? Represent who? What? You know?
Right.
And so that was kinky representation. I want to bring love. I want to bring romance. I want to bring good lighting. I want to bring fucking coconut oil on set so we don't look ashy. I want to bring baby hairs in, waist beads, head wraps. I want to see elements of me in sex in media and entertainment. And we did it. And it was well received. It was so well received. We are award-winning film stars. We produce our own porn. We direct it. We star in it. We work with other people. We bring people into this world. And now I get to see so many other Black actresses, you know, adult film actresses, and that are doing similar work, meaning that they're bringing the brand that they want to see represented, and they're owning their work, they're owning their content, we're owning our bodies. We have autonomy of our. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this.
I love it. For the listeners on Facebook, please let me know. Can you hear Jasmine and I? Okay, just let me know. Even if it's a thumbs up, just talk to me, because we are going to turn this into an audio podcast. So it's very important that I need to know what's going on, because IG, we're good. So until we wait on them, let's talk about sexual anxiety, because obviously you are a sister. Okay, I need some words, no emojis, excuse me. Give me a yes, I can hear, or no, because I don't have my glasses and I can't read all of that.
Michelle.
What did Michelle say?
She gave us a thumbs up.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Okay, speaking of sexual anxiety, can you explain to people from a therapist viewpoint what is sexual anxiety?
So, in knowing that we were going to talk about this tonight, I was thinking like, how do I want to define this? And I think it's important to use as lay terms and as lay of description as possible, because anxiety, even non-sexual anxiety, manifests in people in very different ways. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't get too into like clinical details and things that might exclude someone from feeling well. I don't have that, so something else might be the problem. Nor did I want to put this general blanket, which the actual, it is very general, and, you know, cast everyone with sexual anxiety. So our work is, in my practice, around sexual anxiety. I look at it from two perspectives. having anxiety outside of my sexual relationship that's on my sex. So what this might look like, especially for Black folks, especially for Black women, are you so stressed with dealing with things outside of your intimate space that it becomes very difficult for you to center your pleasure or to center pleasure or to focus on intimacy? And I want us to even think about intimacy out penetration. Okay? You know, like I'm trying to the end of the range. I want us to even back up to like relationships.
Okay.
I know that when I am very stressed with work, with oppression of the society in which we live in, that I don't really want to talk with my friends as much. I don't want to engage in my partner at a deeper level because I am probably focused on being. That makes it really difficult if you can't even have that more surface level intimacy to get into the physical level of intimacy. Before anxiety manifests in our body, you know, and so some of the things with sexual anxiety, you might think of when you think of your body, like, oh, erectile dysfunction or vaginal dryness or pain or inability to focus. Before any of those things manifest in our body, it starts in our brain and in our mind. So a lot of times we attack our body right away. Something's wrong with me. It's something I ate. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm too this. I'm too that. Actually, if you could start a little sooner, you might be able to make a better connection to how your body is responding to a mental anxiety, an emotional anxiety. So that's one way of looking at sexual anxiety, is my outside anxiety, depression, any of those things having an influence on how I'm able to focus and center pleasure in my sex. The second way that I look at it is, are there things that are happening in sex, like in my intimacy, that I cannot do? So is it trauma that I'm having a difficult time disconnecting from that makes it difficult for me to enjoy sexual engagement? Is it something physical? Is it an insecurity about my body? Is it my partner not knowing how to work with my body? Is it me not knowing my body that causes me any type of mental upset where my focus leaves the actual interaction and it becomes incredibly focused on performance? It becomes focused on things that we are not interested in or don't like about ourselves, or it becomes focused on, is the light right? Is the door locked? Is the is the laundry done? Those kind of things. So that is how I would like, if it's okay with you, to frame sexual anxiety from those two perspectives for our talk tonight.
Oh, I think it's perfect, because when I broached the subject with you, I was fixated on the internal with the trauma, but I never thought about the external forces, especially over, I hate to say for the past year, like it trickles down from the past 400 years. Right?
That part, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And something that a lot of people have been able to, let's just talk about this year, for example, thinking about how this might have an impact on Black and brown people very differently. You know, we might see in the beginning of like quarantine, it was like, oh, there's going to be a lot of quarantine babies, right? Or like partners are either going to fall deeply in love with each other, or they're going to, they just don't fall out, you know, like,
right.
Like energy of all of them. But there's intersections about our stress and intimacy that people don't always recognize, and I mean us as well. Our safety was at risk during this time in general, as we went through the uprisings of the Black Lives Matter movement this summer. Our families were dying at a higher percentage rate than anybody else in the world.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, these stressors don't want to like put rose petals leading to the bed, like, we don't have energy for that. We need our energy to survive.
Just to make it another day. Absolutely.
Now, that was just this year. These pressures that we deal with day to day, like you said, the last 400 years, so to speak, like, we're born into stress.
Yeah. Generational trauma is real.
It's so real, because if you're not healed, how can you offer strength-based support to someone else? And this is, you know, the on and on. And Kay and I did a real lively discussion yesterday at McGill University talking about the ways that sometimes we look at the symptoms of something that we're experiencing. And again, we don't take it all the way back to why are these stressors here? How does, like you were saying earlier, where our sex has been dictated generally by men. Both men, if we want to just say with black men, those black men learned what was their model in America for a man, white men. And that model has been violent against our bodies.
Extremely.
You know? So there is a extremely, and there is a anxious fear oftentimes for us to interact with anyone intimately because we have had violence against our body that actually occurred. We have had our bodies fetishized to the point that my figure, I remember being in intimate situations before I became this level of comfortable with my body where I'm like, dang, this person is like, I'm black and my butt is not going to do, like, the motherfucker saw your butt when you got off the car and went in the house, like, you know?
Right.
You know, like, and I remember finally having a word with myself and going, you have never been turned down sexually because you are not this enough, that enough, this enough. No one has ever suggested you weren't enough. That's coming from me.
Mm-hmm.
But then where is it really coming from? Again, I'm acting out the symptoms of a problem that is way bigger than me. It is having been told since I was born that there is a particular way that Black woman's body is supposed to look, move, shake, hop, jump, skip, cook, everything, right? And however, no matter how well it does it, there's another standard of beauty that is still always going to be better than yours. So that messaging didn't come from me. It was programmed. You know, somebody mentioned in the comments unlearning, and so yes, I did have to take a moment of being able to decide, like, this anxiety about my body and my performance things, it's not even my own.
Wow.
It's been passed down to me, and I get to decide if I would like to bestow it upon the next generation or not, and I've decided not to.
God bless you for that. You know, while you're talking, I'm thinking about our elders before us who passed down their generational trauma with just the word, men. Exactly. Men ain't shit. Just go on and do what you got to do. Let him, just as long as he finishes. And when I hear that, that automatically puts me in the role of it being a job. I mean, I never felt that way, but it will put somebody in the mind of it being a job, and that women cannot enjoy sex for their own. Like, we can have our own sexual pleasure. It's okay to have an orgasm with or without our partner there. It's all right.
Absolutely.
You're not going to go to hell.
You know, something that you were saying, like, it's a job. And what do you want to do well? What do you want to do at a job? You want to perform well, right? You want to get hired again. You want to get paid for it. You want to get praised for your work.
That's right.
And I don't think that, you know, like, so when you are looking at it as a job, then you do get focused on that performance. And, you know, sex is not a performance unless you are a professional performer. Right? So there are times when there are certain acts that I have to play out to meet the bill. You know, like, they want to see this, they want to see that, they want to see that. Okay, boom, boom, boom. We're getting paid for this, that. It is a transactional performance.
Yes.
Granted, enjoy it. I get to set my limits with that, but that is a performance. That is where performance anxiety should show up when I am performing. Sex that is not for a professional performer is an experience. That's it. It's just an experience. So I'm having a sexual experience. The end of this experience may be different than the last time. I want to be able to talk about this experience very differently from the one before and from the next one. We go out to eat. Remember that time we went out to eat, girl? And then you said, when? When we went to the place. Which time? The on the first of the month, or when we went back at the end, towards the end of the month? We differently that we want to draw ourselves back to remember, or maybe we don't want to re-experience that. If we started to think about our bedroom experience, hey, I do think something beautiful can happen. We would explore it differently. We would experience it differently. We'd experience it without the pressure. I don't need accolades for my sex. My accolades are, do I feel pleasured? Do I feel good? Am I happy with what I offered to my partner?
Right. Exactly. Ooh.
Now, I want my awards in my porn stuff, in my profession. Like, that's where I want my accolades.
Right.
In my personal life, I want my experience.
You know, and that's what also drew me to you, because when I will watch your films, I was like, what is it about this couple? Well, I didn't know that you all were a couple at the time. I was like, what is it about them? Because their films look, I don't know, there was like a connection. But I didn't know that you all were a couple. And then it just started clicking. I'm like, oh, that's why it stood out so much. It's about that connection and that performance with your partner, as you say. And also being in touch with your bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to focus on what is the intention of this space. Is it to communicate with each other physically? Is it to relieve one another? Is it to just like spend time in a different way? Is it to play? I think sometimes like we think like you mentioned, if we could just ask our partners, what is the intent of sex? And just kind of hear, just hear. It might be to make sure you get off. Aha. That person might have been raised with the comments that you were saying, you know, just like make sure he's fine and that's fine. Or maybe someone says that, you know, it's to relax my body. Oh, okay, cool. That helps me understand that you're coming into this with that intention. And then asking, what if we opened up those intentions? What other reasons could we be having sex for? And I think that's when we are like having that ownership of our sex. We're deciding how we want, what we want it to look like. It shouldn't look like, I remember this dude that I was with him for a long time, and I sort of hope that this floats its way back to him.
Let's hear it.
I hope it floats. I won't say his name, but y'all, anybody who knows me knows who he is. And it was the longest relationship before this beautiful long relationship that I'm in now.
Okay.
He had a routine. And when I looked at his porn, it all made sense. And it's like I had to like kind of live through it and then understand it now, some like 10, 15 years later. It was a little bit of licking, a lot of bit of sucking, front, flip her over, back and come. It was just like, and I was like, oh, now that I'm in the porn industry, and when we see these kind of like templates that like mainstream companies want, it's the same. A little bit of licking, a lot of bit of sucking, face to face, flip her over, come on our ass. Like, and that's black porn. That is packaged and marketed. Come on our ass, right? You know, doggy style, the butt, and all of that kind of thing.
Right.
So it was very interesting after leaving that relationship and realizing, oh, no wonder why. I wouldn't say that the sex was bad. It just never grew. And I take ownership of that because I didn't a sexual relationship and say, hey, what else could we try? Was the ejaculation on my butt. So anyways, sometimes we do have to learn where our partners learned about sex, what they learned about sex, and that is either adding to the anxiety or just basically adding to the anxiety or taking away from the pleasure.
Right. So, so someone says that they can barely hear. So what I think I'm going to do is, if our Instagram listeners can migrate over to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together on Facebook or YouTube. It's Straight up, Black girls getting their shift together, because this is some informative stuff. I want to get you all's vaginas correct. We're trying to save lives one orgasm at a time. So there's a lot of people. So spin, I'm clear, but she's not. No worries, Latasha. We're all going to go and migrate over to Facebook and or YouTube. So in the meantime, everybody else stay on, but my Instagram listeners, before you get off, I want you to follow my page and Jasmine's page on Instagram for sure. And I'll see you on Facebook. Take care. I'll see you soon. So let's do this.
Okay, can you hear me over here?
All here now.
Let's see. Let's turn our sound up.
All right. You sound great. How do I sound?
Wonderful.
Okay. So what about a woman? I love how you said talk to your partner, be intentional. But what if they don't know how to even broach that initial question?
Yeah, so I don't think that some of your listeners are going to like this comment, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. If we're having a hard time communicating about sex, should we be having that sex?
Ooh.
Do we need to spend more time having maybe sex with ourselves? Do we need to have more hard conversations with ourselves to ask, why is it hard for me to even broach the subject about sex with somebody that I am exchanging sex with? You know, and I'll take it even out of the transaction of sex. I always like to give examples outside of sex because it's like logic. And then when sex gets in, it's like, it's, you know, like the scary thing, right? But I just want to show us how we already are doing this.
Right.
I think about it from a business transaction. If I can't talk about money with somebody that I'm about to go in business with, probably shouldn't do business with them. And it is it the person? Is it your lover that you are concerned they're not going to hear you out? You're going to hurt their feelings? Is it you? Does using the words I want in sex or I'm concerned in sex, like, does it get choked up in your mouth? If so, what is, like, it's not a dick. So what is it that's choking you up? You know, that was so bad.
But so good.
What is it that is keeping you from having this conversation? And I think that is so valuable to explore, because 9 times out of 10, that's probably the source of your anxiety. It's like, this person is not going to understand me. This person is not going to want to meet my needs, or I'm scared to have this conversation because maybe what it says about me or you. So, I mean, I use the same tactics with my children. Is that if you can't have a conversation about sex with your partner, your needs, your desires, what you want this to look like, what you hope is going to happen before, during, and after, then maybe you can, think about it a little longer. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying examine that.
Exactly. You need to come with authenticity. That's something else. I was watching this live, and it was this man talking about how he wanted to have sex. He couldn't even say the word sex. This whole grown ass man in his 40s.
What was he saying? Doing it?
Huh?
Do it. Was he saying doing it?
He said if we have sex. And he has 3 kids.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. So, the authenticity really comes with it, because I believe if you do not, piggybacking on what you said, if you do not explore your wants and needs and desires, they can pick it for you, your partner, but who's to say if they may or may not have your best interest at heart?
And here's the thing. If someone is picking your pleasure for you, then you're also cheating them of an experience. And I think sometimes we feel like if I just do what this person wants, I know that my body responds incredibly differently to my partner if we are engaged in what I am excited to do. And so he gets the best benefit of sex with me when I'm involved in terms of the what's going to happen here. You know?
And when you say involved, not just physically, here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of the best sex I have had is because we communicated. We already were screwing, fucking, even before we got in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Open line of communication was there.
It was there.
And he even asked me, well, what if I do this to you? I'm like, mm-mm. I didn't think it was bad or nasty. I just wasn't into it. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hold on, we have a comment. Hi, Dion. Dion was on last week.
Hey, Dion.
He said, I have to come back to this to view this. I'm about to go into okay, Dion, I want you to come back. Yes, and it is a very interesting topic. So, yeah, it's just the line of communication was so open and it was fire. Oh, so good.
I love that. I was talking to, I do have a strong like connection to women and sexual anxiety because so much of products, market, like everything is geared towards men and erectile dysfunction, which I generally feel has a lot more to do with mental health and issues around performance anxiety than it has to do with taking a pill to get blood. You know, like, I mean, there are definitely medical reasons why people experience vaginal dryness, erectile dysfunction, pain during sex, and all of those things. But we're not talking about the physical medical issues. I always suggest seeing a doctor first to make sure we take those out off the table before we start looking at some of the things that we're talking about, which in terms of like mental health and practices. I like to take the focus off of men because men have a pill now, which was actually originally designed for women. So Viagra was for a condition related to women. Actually, specifically, I feel like it's PMDD, and then it somehow became men's. They found out that men's dick will get hard with it, and then it no longer was our pill. But anyways, so they have, they have a pill. They have there is a lot of stigma around erectile dysfunction, but there's also a lot of attention on like, you can fix this. We can work through this. It's okay. Right. For women, we don't, other than like, she has a headache. She's not in the mood. Like, we don't even get an opportunity to explore, well, what is the matter? Where can we talk about these things? What does it look like on us? What does sexual anxiety look like for women? It might look like vaginal dryness. It may be pain during sex. It may be inability to focus on your pleasure. It may be experiencing trauma and triggers and just disassociating and taking whatever is happening to you. It can look like a lot of these things that don't manifest themselves in limp dick, right? So I do think that it's important for women to understand that that like always thinking about something else and not being present during sex, that is not a normal and natural state for us. That is something that has been sold to us to decenter our importance in sex. She's not there anyways, just fuck her.
Right. Just a hole, literally. And they all think about these sitcoms and the woman is like, or in porn where it is like, like well known and sort of comical that like orgasms are faked in a particular way. And so we have normalized not being important. We've normalized not having a voice. We've normalized anxiety, performance anxiety. We've normalized those things. With men, we haven't normalized erectile dysfunction. Wow.
How about that?
So I know you can't go into details, but do you have a lot of clients that come in for sexual anxiety?
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of people that come into practice thinking that something is wrong with maybe they don't love their partner anymore because they can't get turned on the same way. They think their relationship is coming to an end because they can't focus in sex. So maybe they're not attracted to the person. Maybe their partner's not attracted to them. Maybe this is where it ends. So we see a lot of really beautiful connections being interrupted by a conversation that we just can't seem to have with each other. That, and often a lot of women, and I do have primarily a woman clientele base, and many women come in and they discount their sexual experiences. And when I say discount, it's like, yeah, we have sex and, you know, it's good. Like, he's not complaining. And I'm like, whoa, back up.
Yeah, right.
You know, like, not him. He can talk to his therapist about his good sex life. What is yours like? And there is no way that he can be having a good sex life if you're not actively involved mentally and physically. So for those people who are still operating from the premise of I'm better to other people than I am to myself, that's fine. If that's where you are, be there for right now. But just know that if you are going to center someone else, it does mean that you have to do some self-centering and some work on yourself to offer that person the best version of you.
Absolutely. I always go back to the inner work and the healing and self-validating. Because if you are navigating through life, that's the more you navigate through life, and the people pleaser, I didn't even think about that till just now. That can be people pleasing also in the bed, partner pleasing, as opposed to coming together. Oh, excuse the pun. Coming together, but coming together and having a beautiful moment, whether it's freaky, raunchy, hot.
It's experience, right? It doesn't matter. Even if it's casual, right? That's the other thing, is that sometimes people are like, well, I don't have like a partner or a relationship. It's just sex. But like, it's still an experience that you should want the best out of. And what would it be for it to be the best experience for you? For some people, it is going to be that like kinky degradation. He just used me, or she just used me, threw me against the wall, like all. But if that's what you want, and you have been able to articulate that, and you're having that played out, then you're actively engaged. If you are having a different experience than your partner is having, like, it doesn't matter if that's a one-shot deal. Like, don't waste your drops on something that you're not going to get, pleasure. And pleasure doesn't always mean an orgasm. I think that's important to share. It's like, it's great if you have one. It's kind of like a bonus feature.
Can you explain that to the listeners?
Absolutely. So we're taught through, mainstream porn that sex ends when one of the partners, usually the male, has an orgasm. So it's almost like sex isn't successful unless there is this come. And that's not necessary. Like, that is a part of the experience. But if your only focus is getting to the end, then like, you might as well just masturbate. You know how to do that much faster, right? Like, it's if we can kind of take it back a couple of notches and go, I want this whole thing to be pleasurable. And if at the end there's a bonus, awesome. But what do we want to do between here and there?
Right.
And so again, that focus, like, I've seen women, like, I can't make my partner come as fast as I used to. Okay. What are you doing between there and when they do come? Or male partners saying, I don't think I'm satisfying her because she doesn't come. Did she say she was dissatisfied? Did she say that was the goal of this engagement? And so that's, again, coming with these intentions.
Right. Intentions and authenticity. Like, babe, it's okay. I didn't come.
I'm good.
Let's hug and squeeze each other. It still can go on.
Absolutely. I love for my partner and I, we might start in the morning and we don't have time because I got to get down, do other things. He's got to get to work. And then we continue in the evening or even another day. Like, it's okay. It doesn't, it's the experience. Kind of like, again, going back to eating out, like, do you really have to get the same thing every time? like you can start with dessert sometimes you skip dessert depending on where you are in your life. Were you full when you started? Maybe you don't need the whole, like just kind of taking, like looking at our preferences and how we interface with other things can give us that variety that we don't seem to think that we have and can have in sex. And that is one of the things that I love about fetish and kink. It has really broadened my perspective about how many other ways there are to engage with intimacy that don't necessarily have to look like that routine, that template that I was talking about.
Right. So, question, can you be promiscuous and have sexual anxiety?
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah. So one of the things with anxiety, oftentimes people kind of envision that one, we talked about the physical, and then we also talked about we talked about the physical, and then we talked about how it manifests in the body. Usually when people think of anxiety, they think of like rapid thoughts, heart beating, sweating. Another way that we have anxiety is shutting down. Shutting down.
What does that look like?
It can look catatonic. It can look quiet. It can look off to space, trying to connect with a happier time or place. It can look like watching the clock and just waiting for it to be over. It can be focused on that end. Hurry up and come. Hurry up and come. Did I do my job? Did I do my job? Am I going to get my praise? Or am I just doing a job? People have casual sex all the time because they don't oftentimes have the words to say, no, thank you. I'd rather have a longer conversation. Or I actually want to keep this conversation that we have going. I'm feeling really hot and turned on about the sapiosexual of this. I'm not ready to be touched. Oftentimes we do that same template. Girl meets boy, goes on date, makes a connection, goes back home, pretends that she doesn't do this every time. We've been socialized with how to even have dates, you know what I mean? Or how to engage with someone in that, where we don't even insert the part where we talk about like, would we like to have sex? We kind of go like, I was just going with the flow, you know? And so a lot of times we are repeating these same anxious cycles where we might be excited about connecting with someone physically. And then we get into that situation where we are face to face, we're having sex, and I'm unable to articulate that I hate this position.
Yeah, so that doesn't work for me.
Right. In order for me to endure that position, I have to shut down.
That disassociation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And that is, if you look up anxiety without even the sexual part, that is definitely a part of anxiety. It is disassociating. And we do see that happen. I love to engage my partners with senses. You know, do you like how I smell? Do you like how I feel? What are you looking at right now down there? What do you know, and that's keeping them present. It's also keeping me grounded.
Yes.
But that's actively engaging in sex, and it is centering the experience, not when is it going to be over.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you can be promiscuous, but just doing that same routine of getting excited and then not having the tools to get through it in a pleasure-centered way, therefore either shutting down or overthinking the situation and then trying it again. Maybe it'll be different with another partner. Maybe it'll be different. And it's like, oh, no. Common denominator is you.
Yep. It always goes back to you, that self-work, that inner work, the self-awareness, and also being present. While you're talking, I'm hearing that sex can also be have mindfulness sex.
Absolutely. Yes. Those are mindfulness techniques all the way. And it doesn't matter if it's a one, and this is a tool. If you have a partner that does either disassociate, shut down, or has a hard time engaging, or if you yourself have these issues and you want to make sure that you are being as present as you possibly can be. In porn, we talk about what's happening. Give yourself a narrative. I like it when I can feel your foot touching my foot. I love being that close to you. Oh, I can still smell dinner on your breath. I love how savage we're being right now, right? So we're literally talking about what we're experiencing, and that allows us to stay engaged. When we can hear our own voice and we can hear our partner responding to our voice, we may then be empowered to say one more thing, like, I really like that. Can you stay right there? But we have to start practicing somewhere. You're not going to just fly out the gate from going like, I check out and I go somewhere else to sex, to all of a sudden I'm giving instructions. What is the middle ground there? It's just one, stay in the room. You know, two, maybe hearing your own voice, but not needing to necessarily think up anything. Just explaining what's happening in the space.
Right.
What you just did made my back arch. That ain't no damn dirty talk. I'm literally just telling you what physically happened to me. So it's helping me stay engaged. And that might be a nice balance. Maybe level 3 is where we are, where it's just like, don't do that. You're going to make my back arch.
I'm very quick to say when something does not feel good and what it does feel good.
Absolutely, because you want more of it. It's positive reinforcement.
It really is. It really is. So
I like to tell people, like, use your words. If sex is adult play, use the exact same rules we use in kid play in adult play. Use your words. Would you like someone to do something different? Use your words. You know? It's play.
You know what? I love that. I believe the overall, what I'm getting from this conversation, what you just said, use your words. Communication.
Yeah. And being able to figure out what those words are. I do, I know both of us from the life coach perspective, therapist perspective, this is the kind of work that we do. It doesn't happen in an hour. It doesn't happen over, social media, but sitting with our clients and helping them understand what is it that what is the benefit of your sex that you're having right now? What kind of pleasure are you getting from it? What kind of pleasure are you putting into it? How do you know that you have had pleasure-centered sex, or that you are showing up and staying grounded in sex? What are ways that we can help you stay grounded? Now, would you like to invite your partner into a session? Can we help you facilitate a conversation? Like, this is the kind of work that we do because we were not taught. We were not taught these tools. And the places, our sex education from our parents and our school systems have basically told us shame and abstinence generally.
And guilt.
Guilt, exactly. And then when we look to where our next best option was sex entertainment, that was designed by our oppressors. So we're really not going to see ways that we should be pleased or centered or grounded in sex. And thankfully, I'm going to give myself props to my company for trying to change that paradigm, but we're just one company. You know what I'm saying? The porn industry is large. So knowing that we have either not been taught or we've been miseducated, it's okay for us to chop off the ego and get the help that you need.
Right. I love that part.
Yeah.
Let go of the ego. And if you feel that the trauma that you've experienced way back when, it's okay to go and get help. Part of a Black girl getting her shift together is, once again, that self-awareness. Mm-hmm. And okay, I'm cringing every time my partner touches me. I love him, but I cannot take it. I'm just going to go disassociate. That's still, we do have a question. Do you think, someone asked, do you think role playing would help?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll answer that. This isn't Ursula as the life coach. This is Ursula. That's a hard yes.
It is. Yeah, role play is amazing. One of the ways that I am not, I don't get into characters and roles and cosplay as much as I probably would like to. Maybe that's something that I'm saving and storing up. But I realized I was using my hair as a form of role play. Like I change up the color or my weave or, whatever the style. And I'd be like, oh, she's bubbly. Oh, she's edgy, And so I would kind of bring that energy in. And that sometimes will help like shake some of the nerves if you have like this alter ego to support you through something that might be a little uncomfortable. So yeah, I love the idea. And then role play allows you to say things in a character's voice that maybe you don't feel quite comfortable saying. And that's okay. I think that we have to be able to use whatever tools we have while we're working on ourselves. We don't have to go on this 10-year hiatus to find self. It's like, no, you can still be enjoying sex and intimacy while you are improving upon, the best version of you at this moment.
Jasmine, I have so many more questions to ask you. You don't have to answer now. It would be nice. I would love for you to come back. You are a gem.
Yes.
Oh, that would be awesome. I can't read this now, but while we've been on, my phone has been popping. It's just been vibrating. So, excuse the pun. I should have put it between my legs, right?
Yes, you should have.
But yeah, I would love for you to come back. I know your schedule is so busy, but as Black women, we're so powerful. And I want us to know that there is power in the pussy too.
So much
and
power.
It is. And sex is healthy and it's natural. But I believe we've been learned that we've been taught, that it's okay, like if a little boy plays with himself, oh boy, stop. But let it be a female. We are whores and she's a hot ass, and it all comes with it. And there goes that toxic shame and guilt when we have a vagina. It's there. Why wouldn't we touch it? I touch my hair. Why leave that off limits?
It's, again, that autonomy of self. If you own all of you, then you get to make those decisions. If you choose to give decision making to someone else, like, 400 years of oppression, as long as it's your choice, that's the biggest thing for me. It's like, if it's your choice to live by those morals and those values and those ethics and those behaviors around sex and sexuality, let that be your choice. I think it's important for us to know that it hasn't been our choice and we do have options.
We do. So I know, and I'm so happy you said you would come back. I do have some questions from some of the listeners, and I've gone through them. So they are they are very respectful, but people were so interested on you being the unicorn that you are, being an adult film actress in several porn movies, and they're good. If you all don't be embarrassed, go to Pornhub just for the teasers. But if you really want to support Black business, even watching porn is supporting Black business. Can you tell them the name of your company?
Yes, it is royalfetishxxx.com.
And I put it in the show notes. So there is a link already for people to click on it, and it goes to everything. Let me give you a couple of questions before we get off, if you do not mind, because I know you are a busy mommy. When was the first time you saw porn?
I had to be around 7 or 8. My older cousins were watching it in like our we had a family house, and the girl cousins and we were like tagging each other to go run and look behind the couch and then run back and tag the other girl in, run, look. And yeah, it was it was very traumatizing when seeing those kind of acts without any context. So it is important for us to help our children understand in an appropriate way, without exposing them to adult content, that adults play differently than children do, because they will see.
Right. I'm gonna tell you real quick. When I was a young girl and I got my period, and I told my mom, you know what she said to me? Now that you have your period, she was doing this. She's like, you make sure he wears a raincoat.
You were so confused.
What the?
Who is he?
I was confused.
Where's
But
the
look,
rain?
so look, in my child's mind, the first thing that came to my mind was the Gordon's fisherman with the yellow raincoat and the slicker hat and the yellow boots. I'm a kid. I don't know. And I was confused forever. And there goes it right there. Have communication with your kids. What's a raincoat? Apparently, I found out years later, oh, it's a condom. Just say it.
She couldn't say the word.
Yeah. You know what's a pet peeve of mine? When people name their vagina and saying like the pocketbook and what was another one? It's just
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's another question, and let's see. What do your friends and family think of your chosen career in the porn industry? Or do they know?
So everybody in my family is well aware. My my children, and I have are in the know. And what they think about it.
Oh no.
Tommy, can you see me?
Now I can.
Okay, cool. So everyone is in the know, and they think that it's my job. And just like any other job, your kids really don't care what you do as long as you make whatever money you're supposed to make to buy them the things that they're supposed to have and some extra. Like, they're generally good.
They just want that PlayStation at the end of the day. Okay, next question.
My kids are very.
They're very what?
Are we back? I think we had a little lag. I was just mentioning that, I think my family is happy that I'm happy. My family's happy. Come with me being able to work for myself, that come with me being able to autonomize and monetize my body. But it was never up for, give me 1 second. It was never up for decision making. It was up for, I'm sharing this with you for awareness. Mm-hmm. I'm sharing this with you because I never want anyone else to tell you, but I am not asking for permission. I am the queen of this. And will do what I need to do. I will keep you safe. I will provide for you. I will uplift my motherly duties, but I will not live my life as if I was only born to be your mother.
I love it.
Strong boundaries and expectations with my family. I am a member of individual, and I have to meet my own life goals and my own needs, and I will represent this family and this tribe well, doing what I want to do.
I love it. Okay. I will save the other questions for later because I know it's time to wrap it up. Can you hear me okay?
I gathered, we're getting choppy now, but I gather we're going to save those questions for the next time we get together.
Next time. But I have my own questions. Ooh. I want you to choose. Yes, ma'am. Choose a number between 1 and 4.
3.
Great. I have 11 questions to ask you. This is a rapid fire part right now, girl. Okay, real quick. What's your favorite sexual position?
Missionary.
Why?
Eye contact, deeper.
Okay. Well, that answered the next question. I was going to ask you, which position makes you come fastest?
Missionary.
Okay. Dom, sub, or switch?
Personal.
Excuse me? It went out.
Dominant professionally, switch personally.
Me too. I'm definitely a switch for sure. Okay. What's your most downloaded video so people can tune in?
Orally yours.
Okay. So as you know, I live in Atlanta. When is the Fetish Fantasy show coming to Atlanta? Because I want to have a front row ticket.
As soon as y'all will wear a mask and get vaccinated, we will be there.
Can you make an announcement to the people in Atlanta who are living their best lives to put their mask on and socially distance so I can get to the Fetish party, please?
Please, for the love of Ursula, wear your mask, socially distance, keep it in until you can get that vaccine so we can all get together and do some kinky, nasty things as safely as possible.
Thank you. Let's see. Ass play or pussy play?
Pussy play.
Okay. What do you like to do to wind down from the work week, whether if it's your porn that you're doing or producing or with fetish films or as a therapist?
Mm-hmm. So right now, during this time of COVID, where I don't have some of the outlets that I would enjoy, I have started gardening, and I have a little garden on my patio. So at the end of every workday, I go out and I sit for like maybe 20 minutes if I can. I look at my plants have grown since yesterday. I check the soil. I have plants right there and also my garden. And usually King and I, we sit down and we disconnect from the kids and work for a couple of minutes just to check in with each other on, how do we feel? So we just kind of do a feelings check and not like, how do I feel about you? Just like, how you feeling? How was your day today? And we treat it the same way we would if it was a work day and we were coming in from different cities and meeting up like we used to, but instead we're coming from different levels of the house and meeting in the garden.
I love it. I started a quarantine garden as well on my balcony.
Oh, you gotta send me pictures.
I will. It's my safe place, my haven, and I do a lot of meditation out there.
It's everything.
Let's see. What turns you on the most?
That's a good one. Right now, let me see. Right now, what turns me on the most? A good hustle. I am like definitely with the stereotypic aspect of like that provider, So I love a brain that is like thinking of business ventures or just thinking about like the long term of ways that we're not going to have to worry. So whether it's a new romantic partner or my long term partner, I love a good hustle.
I love it. Okay, so when now you're at work at Fetish Films.
Mm-hmm.
Do they suggest when a woman, not the man, when a woman gets ready to come, to make the pretty come face, or is it just whatever you look like?
Yeah, so with our films, we don't have any expectations that our performers will perform anything other than how they feel that day. Go through pre-filming, like this is what we would like to see happen. This is the concept. And we renegotiate that the day of, because what you might have said a week or two ago when we were planning might feel a little bit differently in your body. Yeah, you may have gotten your period. You may be, all the things, right? All the things. And so we renegotiate, and we never when we create scenes, we don't rest our investment on there has to be a cum shot, there has to be an orgasm, it needs to look this way. We rest our investment on if the performers are comfortable and they're having a good sexual experience, it will be a valuable piece of content. So when we talk about chemistry that you see in our film, when you talk about connection, it is because we are not being forced to do anything other than how our body is going to naturally respond to the scenario that we've placed ourselves in. And so our films are very authentic in that way. We don't fake come. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But again, like that's our personal feelings also about sex, is that the sex happened. The orgasm, like maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. Maybe it was that good orgasm when you just saw me go and then get back into sex. It doesn't need an announcement or a subtitle. You saw something, experience that was hopefully beautiful to you.
That's that authentic cum.
Yes.
You know?
Mhm.
Can you explain the artistic cream pie?
Oh, well, that's different to different people. The art of it is really it's like the beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? So for some people, it is seeing the ejaculation of the male performer come out and drip out of the female performer, or it could be male to male, just ass. It could be dripping out of the ass. Sometimes it's a mixing of the juices. That one person's come and the other person's come. Some people like to see it smeared all over. So the art is, however creative you like to see that ejaculate is going to, like, you're going to find your tribe. And so people will be like, I love how you kept the camera there and we were able to see every little drip out. It's like, okay, I didn't know that was art, but yeah, I'm with it. And
Two more questions. What is your biggest challenge as a therapist?
My biggest challenge as a therapist is, my clients are awesome. They come to me very appropriately. I think one of the things is setting a boundary. When you're not in my therapy setting, I'm not your therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. I'm not your therapist. Sometimes I feel like when I ask someone how their day is, they like try to get that session, and it's like, that's not how therapy works. You're just, it's just like talking with an engineer. They're not going to build a bridge. Like, they're just.
Yeah, I get it. I'm in the dental field, and when I would go to the gym, and if I would have just put braces on someone, and hey, Ursula, see right here. No, let me get on this treadmill. No,
Yeah.
I'm off the clock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For work-life balance.
Exactly. I love that work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And the last question is question/statement. So I'm not ready to actually be on porn, but are you all hiring for fluff girls?
Oh, I love that. Funny thing that you said that. It sounds like you are looking for a behind the scenes experience. So that sounds like a whole scene within itself that doesn't need to be filmed. But let me tell you about my thoughts about fluff girls. One is that was definitely a thing, and can still be. My take to male performers that need fluffers is, you are a professional. Either come with your fluffer, or come with your solution to your issue. My job is to show up as a performer and make sure that my body can perform. Mm-hmm. And I am getting paid for what we do on camera. I am not getting paid to support you off camera. And we are professionals, so you should come with whatever tools and resources that you should have. I have been on sets where people have certainly like, hey, I want to get this shoe over. Like, is there something I can do to help? And that's certainly appropriate. It's consensual. Or someone like yourself that's just like, look, tag me in. I'm trying to get some action, but behind the scenes. Totally appropriate. But for those performers or people who are thinking about getting into the industry and think like it's easy to get hard when there are cameras this close to you, and there's like not one person holding the camera, but there's like 10 other people in the space, and your and your co-star is like on their phone waiting for you to get hard because they're not, like, it's a hard job, and you really do have to be a skilled professional to be able to do it, and you should be able to do it independent of your co-star.
Wow, that's some dope shit right there. So I will save all the other questions for the next time you come on, because I can go so much deeper, but as respect to your time, because we did go over, and I apologize, but we're going to get off now. So I will say this: you are definitely a Black girl that has her shift together.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to wear that badge with honor.
Don't worry, I'll send you a t-shirt.
I did it for the t-shirt.
Yeah, right. I did it for a t-shirt. I will definitely send you something for sure. We'll talk about that offline. So can you tell the listeners parting words on any upcoming virtual events or anything that you all have going on with Royal Fetish Films?
So we are releasing new films every week. You can also see a lot of behind the scenes, and I answer a lot of these kind of sexual questions, comments, and conversations on my OnlyFans. So you can see more. There's content every single day uploading on both of our OnlyFans. So it's onlyfans.com, Jet Set Jasmine, onlyfans.com, King Noir. And just stay up for updates on jetsettingjasmine.com. Please follow me on all social media. There's always some fun webinar or shoot that we're doing. We're doing a lot of virtual shoots, and we have some cool socially distanced BDSM scenes that are on kink.com. So please check those out and look at ways that y'all can keep safe and still be kinky. And also just examples of how fun things that you could even do with your partner in your own space to draw out sex a little further and have more of an experience than a performance. So I hope you enjoy what we have to share.
I love it. And they can also catch you on Netflix.
Oh yeah, on the show Bonding, on the season 2 of Bonding, and we make some cool cameos. So you could be like, "Ooh, she ain't got no lines because she can't act, but that's okay."
But the way you had that whoop, girl, you were moving that in that figure 8. I was like, look at her. And I can do that too. I did.
Yes, because you got your shift together.
Yes, ma'am. On that note, we're going to end. You all, thank you for dealing with all the technical somewhat issues. And thank you for migrating over to YouTube and Facebook. And visit Jasmine's site. You know, the link is in the bio. Just click on it. Remember, support Black business. Jasmine, I will get in touch with you later on so we can get another time scheduled. Yeah. But you have a beautiful evening, and thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate everything you offer to our sisters because there's power in the pussy.
Come on now. Thank you so much, Ursula. I will see you soon.
Take care. Good night. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. This was some good stuff. I hope something resonated with you. If not, you can always slide up in my DM or you can slide up in Jasmine's DM. You all have a good evening.